I have to say that there was one question that was voted on that ranked fairly high, and that was whether legalizing marijuana would improve the economy and job creation. And I don't know what this says about the online audience, but I just want, I don't want people to think that this was a fairly popular question. We want to make sure that it was answered. The answer is no, I don't think that is a good strategy to grow our economy. So
tonight, the DEA raided a medical marijuana club in San Francisco, and this comes just days after the Obama administration suggested that it would ease up on such actions. Agents flooded Emmeline's Medical Cannabis Dispensary on Howard and 12th Streets. Joe Vasquez on how the feds are justifying this raid. Joe?
Well, Ken, there are limited federal resources. That's what the Attorney General said just 7 days ago. Well, and that seemed to indicate they were going to back off raids of pot clubs. Well, today, they raided this one.
Dallas, Arizona. Local authorities are being forced to deal with an emerging crisis that federal prosecutors are refusing to address and, in fact, are creating.
Border Patrol agents caught this man smuggling 454 pounds of marijuana into Arizona. This culprit carried 390 pounds. And this man was snagged with 500 pounds of pot. Now, even though federal border agents made the bust, federal prosecutors did not bring the criminals to court. In fact, they would have walked free had local prosecutors in Tucson not taken over.
I'm very upset at this. It's not appropriate, it's not right for these cases to be foisted upon the local prosecutor, because we aren't getting the tax dollars to pay for them.
2 local prosecutors in Arizona say federal attorneys refuse to prosecute smugglers moving less than 500 pounds of marijuana. They say it's an unwritten rule.
The individuals that are caught smuggling are then released by U.S. Border Patrol.
George Silva is the prosecutor in Nogales, Arizona. He says he doesn't have the money to prosecute the criminals ignored by the federal government.
It's disgraceful that that happens in this day and age. You know, we have a war on drugs, and we're not really serious about the war on drugs.
The U.S. Attorney's Office refuses to talk publicly about a marijuana threshold, but in emails obtained by CNN, officials at the Justice Department say the U.S. Attorney in Tucson, who was recently fired by the Bush administration, will only prosecute marijuana cases of 500 pounds and above, and that higher prosecution thresholds are simply going to be a fact of life without more financial resources. The emails also say the issue was brought to President Bush's attention. This is what 500 pounds of marijuana looks like, but drug runners are learning to lighten the load. Just look inside the shed in Nogales where confiscated drugs are stored.
You see the small packages that the marijuana is often brought over in. This could have been brought through a tunnel, but more often than not you see this contraption, basically a burlap sack and straps turned onto it so someone can carry it like a backpack. Now keep in mind what prosecutors here are saying is that many of the people bringing over these loads won't even be prosecuted. How quickly can they be back out on the street?
In a matter of hours. In a matter of hours.
Danny Bell runs cattle on his ranch just along the border. He says it's ridiculous that some criminals are able to walk away.
To me, it's kind of an insult for all the people that are out there trying to stop this.
In the war on drugs, local prosecutors say smugglers are winning another battle. Ed Lavendera, CNN, Nogales, Arizona.
But, you know, we're from the government and we're here to help you. So we don't want you to mess around with hemp. You might smoke that stuff. I found out that if you want to smoke and get marijuana out of hemp, you have to have a marijuana cigarette as big as a telephone pole. Then you might get something.